Hello, my name is Asael Jimenez, and I am an HSC 340 Spring A 2017 course. This video is for a discussion board 4 project, uh, and my client's name is Jacob. Part A. Hello, my name is Jacob, and I am 24 years old, and my family physician recently recommended that I change my lifestyle because I've been having abnormally high blood glucose levels. After completing the HRA, or the Health Risk Assessment, my physician mentioned that I am at risk of developing type 2 diabetes in the future. Being a Hispanic myself, I know that the chance of developing type 2 diabetes is higher than any other ethnic group. I know that this disease is also in my family history, so I might be genetically predisposed to it. I am somewhat overweight because I live a very sedentary lifestyle. I have a desk job from 9 to 5 every day, and I very rarely do any exercise. I also live a very fast paced lifestyle, and since I live alone, it's very common for me to eat out often. I usually eat at fast food restaurants every day, and I'm not a fan of vegetables or the healthier food options that they have. Fortunately, I do not smoke, and I am not also a frequent drinker. It's very occasional when I do drink. For the longest time, I was aware of the possibilities regarding my healthcare, but never did anything about it. Part of me wanted to ignore it, but I feel that I can no longer do that. I've realized that I need to do something about my health if I want to avoid developing type 2 diabetes. I want to be preventative about this, but I'm unsure of how am I supposed to do that or approach this challenge. I've set a personal goal for myself to lose weight and to develop a better eating habit for the next 6 months. Part B. Hello, Jacob. It's very nice to meet you. My name is Asael Jimenez, and I will be your healthcare provider for this process. I understand that you are struggling with what could be a very serious health issue in your future. I am glad that you are able to determine that you're facing a problem on your own. According to a study done by the American Diabetes Association, they conclude that the prevalence of total diabetes, both diagnosed and undiagnosed, of all Hispanic and Latino groups was roughly 16.9% for both men and women. This is compared to 10.2% for non-Hispanics and whites. Therefore, I can see your concerns about your health, and I believe that this is a major strength that you have. I will help you move past the pre-contemplation stage and the contemplation stage. The contemplation stage is part of what we call stages of change. You were in the pre-contemplation stage, which basically means that you recognize that there was a problem in your lifestyle, but you weren't really doing anything about it. So now you're in the contemplation stage because you want to change your behavior. So let's discuss how your values and your environment is affecting this stage of change. You mentioned in your health risk assessment that you live alone. Do you find it easier or harder to eat healthy if you're by yourself or if you're with a group of friends? That's something to think about. If so, I would suggest that forming a strong positive relationship with either a close friend or a family member that will encourage you to make better food choices or motivate you to work out. And this is what we call a helping relationship. I also want to highlight that it's very important that you mentioned that you do not smoke and occasionally drink, which makes things a lot easier. And I believe that you should tackle your goal in steps and practice social liberation, which means that you can search for other options or alternatives when it comes to food. I know you say that you eat out often, so instead of getting a hamburger, cheeseburger, or whatever it is, which is filled with high fats and lacks in fiber, instead choose a salad, grains, vegetables, or fruits. Lastly, you mentioned that you work long hours every day at your desk job. I will encourage you to implement a type of reinforcement management in your life, which basically translates to a reward system. So what that looks like is that if you work for maybe 2 to 3 hours, take a break, reward yourself with a healthy snack, get up, stretch a bit, maybe even go out for a walk if you have time. Um, So to recap, we discussed that even though you may be genetically predisposed to type 2 diabetes, there are other lifestyle choices that are in your control that you can change. Your environment plays a key role in this process, and by building strong, helping relationships, either like I said, a close family member or a close friend, they can help you be more accountable to work out more often and make healthier eating choices. I congratulate you again for not smoking and drinking, which can complicate and make things matters even worse. We talked about practicing social liberation and taking alternatives at fast food restaurants. So if you have to go out to eat, just by ordering a salad instead of a cheeseburger or a healthier option, maybe without the bread or whatever they may have, is a lot better. And it's a small step towards your goal. And finally, we mentioned how reinforcement management can turn into both physical and a healthy snack reward system when you're working long hours at the office. I'm very excited for the change that you're making, and I hope to hear from you soon.